Rev up your engines! Old Toyota 4Runners, you see them all over the place. Here's an old one, almost 300,000. It's got another 2,500 miles to go. Why do they last so long? Why do people like them? Well, we're going to go through this whole thing, show you what's left of this one. It's still running, the AC still works. Yeah, the front bumper's rusted. The previous owner tore some of the front up, but it still runs because this one's a 98. As you can see, it's made in Japan. They're still making them in Japan, and they're making them solid. Now they call them SUVs, but as you can see, they're really trucks. Because unlike modern SUVs, these babies have full frames. Look at that frame. This thing is ancient, but it's not rusted. It's still solid as can be. And this is a normal style older one. It's not four-wheel or all-wheel drive. It's just got rear-wheel drive automatic transmission, big old drive shaft. You can see they got a lot of room. You can kind of tell it's more or less based on a pickup truck. You look at the early ones, they look even more like pickup trucks. When you fold those seats down, you got all kinds of space here. But it's still pretty solid. Check it out. It's a 98. Look at the seats. They're not even torn, and they're the original seats. That's kind of amazing. Now, you can see there's a tiny rip here and it's sagging, but hey, all those miles that are held up like that, and of course, it's got one of these steering wheel covers because the steering wheel faded, but I mean, hey, what do you want? And yeah, the paint's faded too. Start her up. It's a Toyota. It starts right up. It's still relatively quiet. These V6 engines can last an awful long time. Now, it is an old design. It's got a rubber tire belt you gotta change every once in a while. And it's a Toyota. The AC still works. Now, recently, he did have to replace the radiator. I mean, it is made out of plastic, so he got almost 300,000 miles out of the original one. He had it done at his uncle's shop. Some uncle, the guy charged him 380 bucks. He didn't even do it for free. For his own nephew. What a cheapskate, you know? You realize you can get one of these radiators today. You price around, you get the Chinese ones for about 100 bucks. Change this thing out in about 20 minutes, so hey, boo on his uncle, that's all I gotta say. No, he got it about 3 years ago. He paid $2 grand and then he financed $2 grand in monthly payments. So he paid $4 grand for it, and it even included these fancy wheels. Now, these things are known for ruggedness. They can last virtually forever. The thing that people don't like about them is generally the price. You price a new one, they're super expensive. You look at used ones, they can be super expensive too, but it's because they last so long. So if you whine about the price of one, why not get one like he has? Everything still works. You could get it painted if you wanted. If the engine went out, you could put another engine in. It's had the transmission replaced about 60,000 miles ago, but that's because the previous owner wanted to see if he could destroy the vehicle, and he drove it like a maniac. So he eventually burnt out the transmission. You can break anything if you really want to. I mean, I think the guy was foolish. Why would you want to destroy something? But it doesn't cost that much money to do these over because they're relatively simple transmissions. It's a 4-speed automatic transmission, and of course, it's a big, heavy vehicle. So with a 4-speed automatic transmission and this big V6 engine, 14.5, 15 miles a gallon on the highway. These aren't gas mileage machines. Now, the newer ones get somewhat better, but the advantage of this is they can run almost forever and have relatively inexpensive repairs. You rebuild a 4-speed automatic transmission, it's a completely different universe than rebuilding a modern 8-speed or say a Ford 10-speed automatic transmission. If the guy wouldn't have been an idiot who owned it before him and beat the heck out of it, it'd probably still be working perfectly fine. Now, it is OBD2, so we're going to put our scan tool and see what's left of this thing. So we'll plug it in, turn the idiot lights on. We don't want it started, we just want it there. This thing's too old for auto read, you got to put it in yourself. Do diagnosis. Here we go, and it's cold out, so I'm going to start it up. Turn the heat on a little. No fault, so let's look at data. Now, it is all to 98, so there's going to be limited data, but we'll be able to see some things. It doesn't shake. The heat still works good. The lights still work, even the overhead lights. So here we go with some data. Short-term fuel trim, look at this, minus 0.04. That's almost perfect for an old vehicle. That is 297,958 miles on it. You can see the timing's good because the ignition advance is staying pretty stable there, 15. It's got 0 misfires. The injector's firing at proper milliseconds. There's the total fuel trims. Look, it's 1.012. 1.000 is perfect. You really can't complain about that. Well, you even get some transmission information on this old thing. Kind of surprising. So mechanically and electronically, it's still in excellent shape. Let's take it for a spin. I found something wrong. The door handle is loose now. It still opens it, but I had a 81 Toyota Corolla SR5 that actually had the same color interior. And the same thing happened to its door. So we're backing up. There's no backup camera. This thing's old. He didn't add one. You can if you want. I'm still shocked at how smooth this old thing runs. And away we go. Still got some acceleration left to it. Now, it's an old vehicle. When I hit the brakes, yeah, you got to push them a little bit further down, but that's pretty normal. And got a little bit of play in the steering wheel, but nothing outrageous. I mean, hey, if you had 300,000 miles on you, you'd have a little play in your steering too. Here we go on a little drag strip. We'll see what's left of this thing, but I assume there's quite a bit left. I don't hear any wheel bearings roaring. I don't hear any big creaking or anything like you would in a Ford. And it's a heavy vehicle, but still, it's got a big engine. We'll see what it does when we come to our little drag strip, and here we are. We'll come to a stop, and here we go. It's still got some get up and go. Nice sound, smooth shifting. Well, whoever replaced the transmission knew what they were doing. They put in a good one. Now, it's a heavy vehicle with a big engine, but we're going 40 now. We'll floor it, and look. We're going 60 now, so it's got plenty of passing speed. And being a big, tall truck, you feel totally safe in this thing. Even though it's old, I don't feel like the wheels are going to come off or anything. I'd have no qualms of getting in this thing and drive to California and back. Other than paying for the gasoline, I'd take my Matrix because it gets about 3 times what this thing gets. And check it out, the cruise control. I just said it. Look, it actually still works. That's a Toyota for you. I mean, this thing is 1998, you know? It's old as can be, but the cruise control still works. Even the light that says cruise still comes on. So, smooth running. We'll turn the cruise off. The only reason that's flashing is gotta take my seatbelt off. And look, he did add a Kenwood stereo, but it came with decent speakers in the first place. The back window, it still works. Look at that. Try that in a Ford. It's that old. It still works. Now, there's only one thing strange about that car. It's really a screaming Toyota. When he turns off the radio, it makes this noise. It's the old electric antenna. There's a motor here, and the old electric antenna's broken. It's supposed to go up and down, but it's screaming. So we solved the mystery of the screaming Toyota. It was just the stupid electric antenna. They used to have where they went up and down because, oh, my God, it's so unsightly having an antenna in your car. You want to hide it when you're not using it, right? And of course, people were always breaking them off and stuff. It's just kind of annoying now. Nobody cares. We all use the modern ones like this where it's just built in. I even took the antenna off and it used to hit trees, but the new ones, they don't even need them. Like, and the Kilmer here, that doesn't even have it. It was always made that way. So as we close this case, might have a few faded spots on the front bumper is rusted away. They replaced the back bumper, but let's face the facts. How many vehicles are you going to find like this that have 300,000 miles, that were made in 1998, that still run like clocks? That's why they get so much money for them. That's why people are always looking for them. And of course, the big deal about this one is, as you can see from the sticker, he may be from Georgia, but that's a Texas inspection sticker, so it came from Texas. Hence, no big rust on anything. Not that they rusted in these years anyways. That wasn't the problem the Forerunners had. And the owner just told me, you can't blame this on Toyota. He didn't like the front on it, he changed it off, and he just bought that on eBay and bolted it on. He didn't bother having it chrome plated or painted. He bought it that way. So I would assume if he would have left it alone, it would have looked like the back one that's still shining. And as you might well guess, these are not the original headlights, but hey, let me tell you, There's so many aftermarket parts for these things that you can get inexpensively. You can get all kinds of parts for these things dirt cheap. If you don't go super cheap like he did and get a rusty bumper, you can buy brand new parts for it relatively cheaply. So if you're whining about the price of late model 4Runners, maybe take a delve in the past like he did. Save yourself money. You can fix it up as much as you wanted, or leave it alone and drive a rat truck around that you don't have to worry about dings or that. And you know, it's going to start every time and get you where you're going. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.